at least we could focus on the league, I guess. That's all that matters. I know. Shitey McShiterson. Now that I've got that out the way. Yeah, Celtic lose to Barcelona 2-0. Finish bottom of the group, crash out of Europe altogether. No Thursday night football as a consolation. So I really wouldn't care about playing in the Europa League. Yeah, it's fun. Thursday night football, we can make it fun. Paradise would have been lit up. We would have sang. We would have enjoyed it. But am I really bitter? Yeah, just a little bit. But either way, the positives, no fans in the world compete to Celtic when it comes to them singing You'll Never Walk Alone. The atmosphere is spine-tingling, chilling. They held themselves in a very high regard, in my opinion, just from a footballing standpoint. Not even looking at it. I'll share my last bit of bias before I get into an actual formal opinion on Barcelona and the game that they played. But Neymar's a bit of a twat, man. Like, I just don't really... Like, as a person, he's actually a bit of a bell end. Like, just walking around... I think he's been hanging around with Justin Bieber too much. I really do. But now that's out of the way, I'll be a little bit more objective just to how the game went. Barcelona are top class when they're in form. They should have had a couple of goals in the first half. Celtic had a couple of chances themselves. I thought that they played very well in terms of pressing Barcelona high, winning the ball back, forcing turnovers, and really just... I think doing the club proud as for what they should be doing up against Barcelona. I mean, look at what happened in the first game. Let's not remind ourselves of that. But when Barcelona are moving the ball freely, Neymar to Messi, Messi to Suarez, who, if Suarez was on form, I think it could have been 3 or 4 because he hit the post a couple of times. But Messi makes a great run. Neymar finds him with a beautiful pass, first touch, finish. The exact same move happened, 10 minutes prior to that, except Messi miscontrolled it. Busquets played a ball in behind and Messi miscontrolled. Celtic should have learned a lesson from that, but that's easier said than done. You're playing Barcelona. It's a team that moves so fluently, so freely, so organically. Just they work so well together that it's almost impossible to stop chances. All you can try and do is try and at least get on the score sheet and force them to play outside their comfort zone. And at times Celtic did do that, and they caused problems by pressing high up in the final third. But what a shift that is, man! To force Barcelona to not want to play the ball around as much and chase and hunt, and then get that odd scrap, and then do it all over again when they win the ball back. Because, by the way, I've said this time and time again. What makes Barcelona brilliant is not the fact that they're so good going forward. Everyone, you could be a blind guy and you could see that. I could see Stevie Wonder being like, that Messi is phenomenal. It's pretty obvious. But what makes them great is how well they are tight-knit group of players together. When they lose the ball, they hunt it back. Like a pack of wolves. They hunt in packs, but they hunt in a way that isn't draining to their energy because they know when they win the ball back, they need to get back into that free-flowing football again and keep possession. But they hunt, they suffocate teams, they force them into an area that they don't want to be in, and it's simply like a massive chess game. They're moving a piece forward, whilst at the same time thinking about what they're going to do in their next move or when they win the ball back. It's a joy to watch, even when you're the team that's on the receiving end, even when your beloved team of your beloved hometown are the teams that are losing. So I can only give them credit. And then they strengthened their lead in Celtic. Again, what I loved about Celtic in this game is they didn't adjust their game plan. They still tried to play football. They still moved the ball around. Well, I'm so impressed with Scott Brown in the middle of the park, who, ever since he announced his retirement from Scotland, has just channeled his inner Andrea Pirlo. Like, composed on the ball, moving it well. Like, I may be crazy, but I mean, I could probably walk into that Barcelona midfield. I can't even finish that sentence. Oh, let's not be crazy. But he had a good game. All right, so in general, let's give you a brief recap as to the teams that qualified from the rest of the competition. So as we know, PSG and Arsenal already secured their place going into the next round, but they shared evens, both fighting for that top spot. Still a game left to play, but Arsenal and PSG tied 2-2. Arsenal had the lead, PSG found their way back. Edinson Cavani, who scored something like 21 goals in the last 20 games for both club and country. This is a man who could not hit water standing with Moby Dick on the edge of the boat, but somehow seems to have found form ever since I terrorised them at the start of the season when I saw them against Arsenal and thought to myself, he's not going to be good enough for them to get forward, but maybe he's on a one-man mission to prove me wrong. So they shared the evens at that game. We have to note one of the hugest upsets that happened before any of these major games took place, which was the early kickoff of Rostov versus Bayern Munich. 3-2. They grabbed their first Champions League win at the hands of the somewhat flaky Bayern Munich at the moment. They lose against Borussia Dortmund. I know they made some clear changes. Manuel Neuer was not between the sticks, but losing against a team that looked as if it was in sub-zero temperatures, Jesus Christ, it looked freezing. But they lost 3-2, and Rostov grab a very well-deserved first win in the Champions League. Atletico Madrid, up to their usual antics against PSV Eindhoven. Antoine Griezmann has now had a part to play in Atletico Madrid's last 5 goals, with 2 assists and 3 goals. He is in fine form at the moment. And Atletico Madrid bouncing back from a tough loss against Real Madrid to showcase that they are a resilient bunch. Napoli share evens with Dynamo Kiev 0-0. Ludogorets 0-0, as I mentioned. And then Borussia Mönchengladbach, of course, this was the final nail in Celtic's coffin in terms of European football, as they got a draw from Manchester City, which is enough to guarantee them a place in the Europa League. And Manchester City qualify for the next round of the Champions League. So that's your brief overview. I'm going to do another clip, stay tuned for that in this weekend, where I'm weighing up the teams at this point. I know there's a game left to go, but we really understand which teams are going to be making moves going forward. And I'm going to rank who I fancy to win this competition at this early stage based on what I've seen, and who maybe is a dark horse. Stay tuned for that. Francis_Maxwell on Twitter, Francis Maxwell host on Instagram, and at TYT Sports.